NASCAR team owner Rick Hendrick. On your home for NASCAR, Sirius XM, NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
The Morning Drive returns to the 2013 Team Preview Show. Here are your hosts, Mike Bagley and Pete Pistone.
This is a powerhouse team, and if you get tired of people talking about them, well, I guess I get that. But the reason that people do talk about Hendrick Motorsports is because of the success. And there's no way that team's not going to compete for a championship. Quite honestly, Mike, I think this might be Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s best chance to win a Sprint Cup title coming up in 2013.
17 minutes before the top of the hour. It's our very own Pistol Pete Pistone, mere moments ago, talking about Dale Earnhardt Jr., that number 88 team. Thinks he's got a shot, the best ever shot to win the title. Let's find out if the crew chief agrees. We head to the hotline. We bring in Steve Letarte, crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Stevie, you heard what Pistol Pete had to say. What do you think?
Well, I like the confidence. I agree. You know, I think it's a long year. You have to kind of crawl before you can walk before you can run. You got to kind of cross off your goals as you go through the year. You know, racing's a lot like baseball. You know, everybody wants to win the World Series, but it's a long season, and you have to make sure you're in the postseason. And that's our first goal. Our first goal is to come out of the box solid, kind of get our footing underneath us. We feel last year we did a great job of that, and that allowed us to make the chase with some confidence. And we'd like to do the same thing this year, but we need to win some races, make the chase, and then we can talk about championship.
You know, you talk about crawling and walking and all that. How about your association with Dale Jr. and this 88 team? You obviously, when you first get together, you crawl and then you walk, then you run. Where are you in the stage of that as far as painting with the broad brush for the entire race team right now?
Well, I think, you know, you can always improve relationships and things like that, but I think we're very, very solid. You know, the core group of our team, our lead engineer, our car chief, shot guy, myself, you know, have all been together now for multiple years with Dale, and I think we all have learned to speak the same language, and we understand what each other needs. The question is now is, because we understand what he needs, do we have the tools or the know-how to put it in the car? And, you know, that is a test that happens every single practice, every race, every qualify, you know, and you're not going to get the answer right away, but we feel very confident. The pit crew is back from last year. They were a great asset to our team and kept us in a lot of races. So, you know, we're excited. We're ready to go. It's been a short but long at the same time off season, and we're ready for it to come to the end. We see a lot of cars in paint, a lot of finishing touches, and we're ready to go down to Daytona and put something on the racetrack.
We keep hearing the word confidence. We heard it from Mr. Hendrick. We've heard it from you. I heard it from Dale Jr. when we were at Media Day. What is it? What's different about this year, Steve? And I keep going back to, you know, I know there's no magic formula, and you're right. I mean, it's a long season. Anything can happen. But there's something about year three with teams that become successes to the point of going to the top of the mountain. What is it about 2013 that you feel might be a little different than what we saw out of you guys in 11 and 12 from a confidence standpoint?
Well, I think it's something we've built on. In 11, you know, our goal was pretty basic. Our goal was to be relevant. Our goal was to be shown on TV, not because Dale Jr. was our driver, because we were leading laps and you know, fast cars and be on the racetrack. And I feel we accomplished that in 11. We fell short on a couple races. We thought we kind of stole one over at the 600. We thought we had a car that could win it at Martinsville, and we put ourselves in position. So moving forward into 12, you know, we didn't hide behind it. Our goal was to win a race. It wasn't to be relevant anymore. We feel we were. We feel we were a chase contending team, and we needed to win a race, and we went out and we did that, and we had a great start to the year. And, you know, you can make excuses between injuries and this and that, but the flat fact is we didn't perform like we needed to in the final 10. And now I think, you know, as those goals are you know, listed and then checked off, the only thing to do is to put higher goals. And our goal this year is to win more than one race, make sure we're in the chase, and then we want to be a championship contender. And what that is when you get to race 5 or 6 of the chase, you know, you need to be one of those top 3 or 4 guys. But, you know, that's 32, 33 weeks from now. So, you know, that's a long ways out. I think the first thing we want to do is go down and win a Daytona 500.
When you look at a season and it gets off to the start and you get into it, how long does it take you to draw the conclusion that this is a chase-performing team? I don't want to say chase-making team, because we've seen teams make the chase and fall flat. But you have to exude some performance, and you have to show some performance in the first 26 races that will lead one to believe that you can be a performer in the last 10. How long does it take you to know that a team has that or not?
Well, I think it's kind of odd, because I don't know if that's always the case, Tony Stewart proved it the best. He kind of limped into the chase and then beat us all 2 years ago. I think you have to understand what strengths you have in your race team, what the signature of your race team is. The signature of the 88 has always been consistency. Now, we need to push very hard to improve that consistency closer to top fives and wins. Jimmy Johnson, I wouldn't say is the most consistent, but his firepower is unbelievable. He can win 5 of the next 7, so you better make sure you understand what you have. And there's a mix in there that fits those final 10 races. But, we learned a lesson here in 2005 with Jeff Gordon not to take the chase for granted. Carl Edwards last year, if you list the teams that have missed the chase, there's 2 or 3 every year that everybody would have lost money on. And your goal in the first 26 races is to make sure you're not one of those teams. And it sounds silly, but it's easy to do. It's like a football game. You'll watch one team that comes out of the locker room with energy and excitement, and before the other team knows it, they're down 21 points. And can they make the adjustments? Can they crawl back? And, Jeff Gordon and Casey Kane both did it last year. They had, bad starts, bad luck. You can list all the reasons, but they were behind. But they did a spectacular job. They dug their heels in, and they made an unbelievable push to both make the chase. But you can only do that so many years. In 1 year, if you keep relying on that push, you're going to miss the chase. So in the 88 team, our goal is to make sure, we stay to the front half of that pack and make sure we're in solid.
When I talk to race teams and I ask them about performance, and they say, if it's a team that struggled, they'll say, well, we had that cut tire at Bristol, and then we had, we got called on pit road when the caution flag came out, and then we had to do you'll go through a list of races of things that happened out of your control. Not necessarily the things that were in your control that you made a mistake. I'm talking about these ancillary things that you have no control over, but they add up, and they can keep you out of the chase. How do you minimize them? Because they're out of your control. Can you put yourself in a position to avoid some of that, or is this the what-ifs of racing? And we've seen these what-ifs bite a lot of people, because Carl Edwards is one of those guys that had things happen to him that kept him out of the chase last year.
Yeah, I guess it's what you consider that line to be. You and I would disagree. What I consider out of my control and what you consider out of a race team's control is very different. Everyone has the same opportunity, so you can't control if you run over a piece of debris and you cut a tire. I believe that. There's nothing you control. You can't control if a guy you're racing around crashes his car and you hit it. That's about where it ends. Everything else we control. It's you get caught speeding on pit road, well, you control the gas. If you have a bad pit stop, well, you control the pit crew. If you make a mistake entering or leaving pit road, those are your mistakes. So I feel there is less out of our control than people want to make it. It's easy to say that. Well, we just had some bad luck. And Jeff Gordon last year had some luck that I have never seen in my life. But because the team was there, they stuck their heels in and they pushed through that. And I guess that's what I go back to is, yes, there's absolutely opportunity to have a streak of bad luck, things you couldn't foresee, things you couldn't control, and it could keep you out of the chase. And that's why crew chiefs have heartburn. That's why we don't sleep on Saturday nights. But there's also that big list of what-ifs or coulda, shoulda, wouldas. And I have a sneaky suspicion that is why you see teams like the 48 and the 17 and these teams that have consistently been in the chase running for championships. That's because they control everything that's available to them. And the things that are out of their control, Jimmy Johnson cut a tire at Phoenix, took him out of the championship hunt. But he was still there. And that's what I mean by a championship contender is you can never guarantee. But if you're in the chase with a shot at the championship with 5 to go, then you've had a great season. You've made the postseason. You've excelled in the postseason. You've made the last final rounds, and now you have to get the races to go your way.
How would you categorize the way you guys ended last year? I know Dale had to step out of the car, but once he got back in, how would you categorize the way the year ended, Stephen? And we keep hearing from some teams saying, well, a lot of that confidence and momentum is going to spill over to the next year because this was such a short offseason. Did what happened at the end of last year help you guys in terms of carrying through to the start of the new year?
Well, it helped. It hurt last year, but it would help this year. At the end of the year for us was kind of deflating. We'd worked so hard all year long, all summer long. We struggled in the summer of 11. We made that a goal in 12 to not struggle in the summer. Not only did we not struggle, but we won a race. We led a lot of laps. We could have won another race. And we did everything we wanted to do, and it seems like when we, had that tire problem at the tire test there, and he hit the fence, it kind of took a little wind out of our sails. And looking back on it now, we never really got our feet back underneath us for the first few races after that. and then he crashed at Talladega, and we just weren't fast enough at Dover and Loudon and those places to get the momentum where we needed it. I mean, we can blame everything in the world, but if we'd have been faster at those races, then I think things would have fallen more our way. They weren't, and we weren't fast enough, and then Dale had to sit out those couple weeks, and then it was nice to have him back. And that was a good note to end the year on, is to get your driver back and prove we can still do it. But it was kind of deflating because so much hard work has gone into the year. And you know, other than Brad Keselowski, everyone felt pretty disappointed leaving Homestead. And that's a good feeling to have. You know, that means that you want to go again this year. So this team, you know, was one of the few after the long season. I think they all wish we would have gone somewhere after Homestead. You know, we've been looking forward to the next race since we packed up down in Miami. And, you know, Daytona's coming, and I think this team's ready to get on racetrack and do it.
Talking with Steve Letarte, crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. The next race you're referring to is actually Saturday night in the Sprint Unlimited. Dale Earnhardt Jr. making the cut because he is a former winner of the event, going for his third win in the shootout. And he also won a pole last fall at Richmond International Raceway. Is this going to be a little freebie test for you? You know, we've been testing this car, but now you really get the quote-unquote test in actual race conditions. How beneficial will it be running the Unlimited this weekend at Daytona for you guys?
Well, I feel the Unlimited is huge. You know, it's I'll be honest, we're not going to practice much for the Unlimited on Friday night. We probably will make 5 or 6 laps by ourselves, maybe with a teammate, and that'll be it. For the simple reason of we can't afford to crash a car on Friday night, and anytime you're in a draft, that's an opportunity. So we're going to limit our risk in practice because we have a lot of confidence in the car. We tested it, and we're going to take it down. But I think the Sprint Unlimited, it's the biggest advantage of Speed Weeks. We're going to have a shot to be in a real race. And, you know, the people that kind of eye roll and make it like they don't want to be in it, you know, they weren't raised like me. Where how I was raised, if there was a race in town, you want to be in it, you want to win it. So we're going down there with that mindset. We're going down there. We're not looking to practice. We're not looking to save a car. We're going down there to put a show on under the lights for the fan and get Dale Jr. his first trophy of 2013. That's our goal. And but without a doubt, the knowledge we'll gain will be just huge because Speed Weeks isn't like it used to be. You know, you qualify Sunday. You only have really a couple practices on Wednesday before the 150s. So the guys that aren't in the Sprint Unlimited, their track time of good packs, of real racing, is really limited. They're now going to be a race behind when they get to the 150s. They're going to have to figure it out. And I really believe that race, the shootout, as it was the last couple of years, the Unlimited now, you know, that race really helped us. Our last couple Speed Weeks have been spectacular. You know, we had a flat tire running third in 2011 right before the restart. We finished second last year in the 500. So we're hoping the countdown is coming. We were third, we were second. We hope this year it'll be first.
You talk about crew chiefs with heartburn. How are you going to handle these changes that the fans are going to throw at you for the Sprint Unlimited? It's like the NASCAR version of a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial, for crying out loud.
Yeah, you know, but the real truth, Pete, is that is what a 500-mile race is like. You know, this race is now racing like a 500-mile. When you enter the Daytona 500, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, if you look like just last year, Matt Kenseth had to put water in, that you have to repair noses, you know. It really is no different than our 500-mile race. We're just going to jam it into a short race, give the fans a little bit of a chance to vote in on what twist they want to see. And listen, it's not for points. Everybody wants to get on the racetrack. You know, I applaud Sprint. They've been a spectacular title sponsor for the series. You know, they go with these applications and all these things to bring the race fan closer to the racetrack. And now here we are. How much closer could you be other than voting the segments and who's going to do what and where's everyone's going to start? And I think it's going to be a cool show. Without a doubt, though, my playbook got a little bit bigger because I have to have 2 or 3 different race plans to run this one.
Now, give us the status of your cars. You say you don't want to wreck a car in practice, and you obviously have to have 4 to go to Daytona. Will the Unlimited cars make the cut as maybe like a backup for the 500? I mean, how's your backup car thing working out here?
Well, at Hendrick, we all built 3 cars for the Speed Weeks. You know, it's hard. I mean, simple fact is, okay, you go to Daytona, then you go to Phoenix, then you go to Vegas. So it's 3 different style racetracks. So as a company, we have to have 28 cars done to start the season. So when you start thinking of 28 cars, that's a lot of race cars. So each race team has 3. So the 88 will run one in the Sprint Unlimited, and barring any damage, and it runs like it should, we'd keep that car to be our 500 backup. We have a lot of confidence in it. But we have another brand-new car as well. So we have 3 cars. You know, the other option is what we'll probably do is after the Unlimited, we'll bring that car home, kind of put it back through the system just to make sure it's race prepped, ready. And then we'll trailer it back to Daytona and decide which car we want to put in the trailer as a backup. And We've done this enough now. NASCAR really helps us out getting access to the garage and swap around. But that's kind of why that Friday night practice, we made that mistake a few years ago, and we crashed a car in the Friday night practice. And, man, it was an uphill battle all of speed weeks. And we don't want to put ourselves behind early. We want to be able to race the Sprint Unlimited as hard as we can race it to try to win. And to do that, we really feel we're going to have to limit our risk in practice the day before.
So it'll be obviously a brand new car for the backup for the Unlimited, and then you'll go to Plan B. If you need to go to Plan B, once you take the Unlimited car back to the shop. We have
3 really brand new cars from the 88. The one will run the Unlimited, one will start in the Daytona 500, and then we have an extra car to be used as needed. And then once the Unlimited's done, if that car is not destroyed, even if it needs a fender or a side, we'll repair it and get it back in the system because, that Thursday, Friday, Saturday of Speed Weeks could be a little hairy. And the key is, if you're not as good as you need to be, you have to be on racetrack to get better. And to be on the racetrack, you have to take risks. And to take risks, you have to have cars available. And this company has worked tremendously hard in January. It was a little hard to get ahead. It was really hard to get ahead and with the parts and stuff in December, but we got ahead in January, and hopefully it'll pay off when we get to February.
Well, we wish you the best. I know it's going to be a busy time, but it's time to go back racing, and we'll be able to do it this weekend at Daytona. Appreciate the time as always. We'll see you this weekend at the World Center of Racing.
I can't wait to get there. So I'll see y'all down there, guys. Thanks.
All right, see you down there, Stevie. Thanks.
That's Steve Letarte on Twitter, at Steve Letarte, Letarte.com. Crew chief for Dale Earnhardt Jr., the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. He sounds like he's locked and loaded, ready to go. 28 cars they have to have ready to go on the racetrack this weekend.
Yikes.
And next.
Yeah. And you can see why this has been such a hectic offseason when you're changing over to a brand new car and you need 28 as an organization. Lots of late night hours, Bagman, but it's all going to come to fruition this weekend when we get down to Daytona and start racing.
We cannot wait to get there. Again, live coverage of the Sprint Unlimited. Starts 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Sirius XM NASCAR Radio pre-race show. Motor Racing Network on the air at 7. And then the Sirius XM NASCAR Radio post-race show will take you until 1 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday morning. When we come back,